Hey everybody, so I'm running just a little bit late because I kind of needed to ground myself before I came on and did this live. So, things have gotten pretty stressful, and every single day it seems to get worse. Friday, I went grocery shopping, 3 different stores. I managed to find most of what we needed. Um, but it's kind of weird when you're like going down the aisle of the grocery store and some lady starts screaming, "How can we feed ourselves? There's no meat." And you're thinking, "Holy crud, is this what you come to?" So that was a little disconcerting. It was really nice that I got to see Mary on Friday for a few minutes. I did not hug her, obviously, because she is self-quarantining, and I certainly respect that. So I stood in the driveway, but it was nice to see her and Mike and say hi. So I have spent the day, this entire day, since about 10:30 this morning, applying for disaster relief funds for our business in the hopes that we can save our business, which we're hoping. So, everybody's going through a different thing through all of this. Some of you are having to stay in your house, and others are, being temporarily put out of work. Maybe not you guys, but I have seen that going on. If you're self-employed, like we are, that's really stressful. But what I want everybody to kind of think about, and today we're going to do some hip opening in our practice because we carry so much emotion right here and we just need to kind of get it out. If you are staying at home, what I would highly suggest is you got to keep yourself going mentally and physically strong. And the problem with sitting around on the sofa or laying around on the sofa, it's kind of nice for a couple of days, but then your body starts to go, "What are you doing here?" So for every half an hour that you sit, you need to get up and be active for 2 minutes. And if that means walking around your house, that's fine. If it means doing a little bit of yoga, just a few stretches, that's great. If you feel comfortable, sorry, I touched my face, but I'm by myself, so I'll go wash my hands when I'm done. If you feel comfortable going out in your backyard, go out and get some fresh air, because we're not meant to stay inside all the time. And I understand why they want us to. I get that. But we need to be outside somewhat and get some sunlight. And it's supposed to be pretty later on this week. So if you can do that and you feel comfortable doing that, great. If you feel comfortable taking a walk, and you know that you're not going to run into anybody, like right now, Cameron is the place to walk. I don't know about Elmer Thomas because I don't go there anymore, but I've been taking Sadie up to Cameron every day that I can, and I see a few people, but I don't ever get close enough to them. I mean, like social distancing at a max. They're like half a campus away. So, and it's a really nice campus, and it's got a mile-long route that you can follow, and it's pretty and it's worth it. If you can take a trip out to the wildlife refuge and drive through, during the week you probably aren't going to see much of anybody out there, and even if you do, just roll your window down and keep driving. You're not going to get anything from the Longhorn or the Basin, but the point is that we need to kind of be out and about, and just get some fresh air. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. We're going to do our sun salutations, and then we are going to open up our hips, which I think always feels good. And when I was teaching, I was always trying to do that at least once every other week, to do a hip opener class, because I think it feels really good. So just remember to do what you can. Don't worry about the rest. If you need to modify, of course, do so. If you need props, have them. I've got today 2 blocks, a bolster, and 2 blankets. So y'all know if I got 2 blankets, we might be doing something that will require an animal noise. Just saying. All right, so let's see. I think we're okay. So let's get started. Go ahead and get to your wall. I'm gonna move my stuff out of the way here so that we can start with our sun salutations. And I actually did bring in my tablet, and I thought, well, I'm gonna do this live on my tablet, and you could see less of the room, more of me, but less of the room. And I thought, no, you can't. You could see like my upper body, but not my lower mat. So I went back to my cell phone. All right, so let's come to the wall and make sure you've got enough distance so that you don't hit your head, because, you know, we have enough issues going on. I'm gonna come a little bit this way, because I'm gonna smack over there. Let's come into mountain pose, bringing the feet to about hip width apart. Arms are down by your side. Relax your shoulders, stand up nice and straight. We're gonna start to breathe that deep yoga breath. Woo, and I almost fell over backwards. That would be fun. On your next inhale, let's take the arms up, interlace the fingers with the index fingers pointing. On the exhale, you're gonna bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale back to center. Separate your hands, soften your knees, and fold forward into your standing forward bend. Just let your head hang down. Then letting your head lead you. On the inhale, rise back to standing. Palms come together, hands into your heart. Step to the wall and extend your arms fully. On the exhale, bending your elbows, coming down. Inhale, coming back up. And then inhale, we're going to take the left leg back, and I'm going to trip over my blankets. Bound and determined to get myself today. Just lengthen out through your heels. Or through your heel, not both heels. Inhale, stepping back up, and on your next inhale, take your right leg back. This feels really good since I've been sitting in a chair at my computer all day. Inhale, stepping back up, and exhale, walk out into half down dog. Remember to adjust your hands down the wall if you need to. You want to lengthen your tailbone across the room. Nice deep breaths. And then we'll inhale, coming up. Step back away from the wall. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise back to standing. Hands into Anjali Mudra. Into your heart. On the inhale, sweeping your arms out to the side and up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers. On the exhale, you're going to bend to the right. Inhale back to center. And exhale, bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Separate your hands, soften your knees, and fold forward. Inhale, let your head lead you as you rise back to standing. Hands into your heart. Step to the wall. Extend your arms. On the exhale, coming down. On the inhale, coming up. Then inhale, take your right leg back. Make sure your left knee is stacked over your ankle. Lengthen through that right heel. Inhale, stepping up. And on your next inhale, take your left leg back. Inhale, stepping up. On the exhale, coming up into half down dog. Then we'll inhale, coming back up, push away from the wall. On the inhale, bringing your arms up. On the exhale, folding. Then inhale, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise back to standing, hands coming into your heart and down by your side. Then we'll come back to the top of our mats, in your case. And I'm not going to go all the way up to the top of mine because I'll go out of range of the picture. So coming back into mountain pose, we want to bring the arms down by your side. Palms are open. Stand up nice and straight. Relax your shoulders. feet to hip width apart or wider. So what I did right before I came on live today is I went and watched the video for the Great Bell Chant. So if you've never watched the video, I know you've all heard the song because I played it for you a million times. But if you've never watched the video, go to vimeo.com, it's VIMEO.com, and search for the Great Bell Chant. It's gorgeous. And I felt like I just kind of needed to calm myself down. So it worked too, really well. All right, so really rooting your feet down into your mat, feeling the earth beneath you, and of course that's metaphorically. Relaxing the shoulders, getting the breath going. And especially at times like this, when there's a lot of fear and a lot of panic, and the fear feeds the panic, we tend to get very short-breathed. So take the time to really breathe, whether you're standing in mountain pose or whether you're just sitting or in your car or whatever. Take the time to really get that breath going and to calm yourself as much as you can. Because trust me, others are going to get you freaked out. When that lady started screaming in the grocery store, I was like, holy cow. I just kept on walking and breathing. On your next inhale, let's take the arms up. Nice deep stretch. On the exhale, soften your knees as you fold forward. Coming into Uttanasana, your standing forward bend, where you're going to anchor your hands either to the backs of your legs or to the mat or to a block. If you prefer to be in half standing forward bend, hands will be to your shins. Just make sure that your back is kind of flat. And if you want to hollow it out, you can a little bit, but keep those knees soft no matter what. Let your head hang down if you're in full standing forward bend. Really just rooting down into the earth, breathing. Then if you want to take hold of opposite elbows, you can hang heavy or you can sway side to side. That's up to you. Or you can just stay in your standing forward bend. Just keep the breath going. It's all about the breath, isn't it? Yep. Then we're going to come to a stop. Let's bring the hands down to the mat if they're not already there. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I normally do because I want to be able to face the camera as I'm doing this. So normally we take our right foot back first, but this time we're going to inhale, and take your left foot back. You're going to turn that back foot to 45 degrees. Make sure that your right knee is stacked over your ankle. Inhale, and we're going to rise into Warrior Two. This way I can do the whole thing without my back to you. So we want to make sure that one arm is out in front, one arm is in the back. Our body's at center, so don't be leaning like this. You don't want to, that's really uncomfortable, so don't do that. So at center. Making sure, and hopefully you did before you came up into it, that knee is over your ankle. And if you have problems with your back foot lifting, just roll that pinky toe out a little bit, and that should solve it. Looking out over your right hand. I had to think about which hand it was. That's pretty bad. Just breathing. Virabhadrasana 2. Getting some strength into our bodies. Because that's one thing that happens, of course, when we stay at home and we sit around or we lay around or whatever. We start to lose some muscle tone and some strength. So we need to make sure that we're staying nice and strong, both physically and mentally. Yes. Nice deep breaths. So on the exhale, we're going to take the front arm down to the front leg, and the back arm's going to come straight up or over. So this is, of course, side angle, Parsvakonasana. Both palms are open and full of energy. And you're carrying the weight of the pose in your legs. So you should be able to lift your arm and still be in the pose, because otherwise you'll collapse into your shoulder, and we don't want that. So you can look up or down. And then we're going to inhale and reverse the warrior, going up into Viparita Virabhadrasana. I'm forgetting my Sanskrit. I got to do this. Again, you can look up or you can look down your back leg. And then we'll inhale, coming back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. And on the exhale, we're going to hinge out, coming into triangle. So you're going to take your right hand to your shin. Your left arm is going to go straight up to the sky. And you want to make sure that your chest stays open. If it's not staying open, if it starts to collapse to the floor, that means your hand is down too far. Because some of you like to go to the floor. This is too far, like I'm starting to turn. So you can either stay up on your shin or you can grab a block if that helps. Just breathe. Then we'll inhale, coming back up. Release the hands. Let's release the legs, shake it out just a little bit, and then we're going to turn to the side, making sure that you're at a comfortable but challenging width, and your outside edges of your feet are parallel, just like when we stand in mountain pose. On the inhale, we're going to take the arms up, palms come together, stretch. And on the exhale, we're going to fold into our wide leg standing forward bend. Bringing your hands out in front of you and pushing them flat on your palms. You want your wrist underneath your shoulders. And we're just going to push into the palms, and that's going to push up into our backs and stretch our backs very nicely. Just keep breathing. Then we're going to walk those hands back. Take your left hand to the center of the mat. And on the inhale, we're going to revolve the right arm up. So going into revolved wide leg standing forward bend. And again, you can look up or down. It's probably more comfortable to look down. Then we'll exhale that hand down, bringing the right hand to the center, and then inhale, taking the left arm up. And if you need to soften your knees, you can. And then we'll exhale that hand down. We're going to take the left foot now and turn it out to the back of the room, I guess you would say. It's the side of the room for me. Turn your right foot to 45 degrees. Make sure you're in a lunge, and then inhale, whoops, and rise into warrior two. That almost was disastrous. It's all good. Okay, so once again, making sure that this time your left knee is stacked above your ankle, the arms are out, and your body is at center. You're breathing, looking out over that front arm. Nice deep breaths. Doing what Kelly would call a slick transition. On the exhale, we're going to bring the left arm down to the left leg. The right arm will come up or over into Parsvakonasana, side angle. And again, you can look up or down. Try to lengthen your body as much as possible. Then we'll inhale, coming back up and reversing the warrior. So now my right hand is down my back leg, my left arm is up to the sky. Then we'll inhale the arms back up into warrior two, straighten the front leg. On the exhale, hinging out into triangle. So again, making sure that your chest stays open and doesn't start to collapse to the floor. Just breathe and inhale, come back up. Release your arms, bring your legs together, shake it out just a little bit. It does get a little intense, doesn't it? All right, so then we're going to take the legs out a little bit wide again, not as wide as you did in wide leg standing forward bend, but we're going to go into goddess. So this time you're going to turn the toes out. You can't see my feet, I don't think. I don't know what y'all can see, so maybe you can see my feet. And then we're going to bring the arms up like little goalposts. On the exhale, we're going to squat down into goddess pose. Now once you're here, if you want to kind of rock back and forth, you can do that. If you want to just hold it steady, you can do that. It's up to you. I like the kind of rocking thing. I can tell I haven't been working my thighs very much because right now they're burning. Then we'll come to a stop. Inhale, coming back up. Release your arms. Yay. Okay, so what shall we do for balance tonight? Hip openers. Well, tree pose comes to mind. So let's go ahead and do tree pose for our balance tonight. Starting on a strong left leg, make sure your thigh is nicely engaged. Find your focal point, whatever that's going to be today. Mine's going to be a little bit different because I've got my mat diagonal. When you're ready, get your breath going. Grab hold of your right foot, and you're either going to take it right to the ankle, to the shin, or all the way up, wherever you deem good for your practice tonight or this afternoon. If you want to grow your tree, feel free to go and take your hands wherever you want, but you got to make sure that you're breathing and you're focused. If you need the wall to help you, feel free to do so. Keep the breath going. We want to make sure that we're pushing the left thigh or the left leg and the right foot against each other. So we're hugging up into the midline of our body. And if you have your foot all the way up in the thigh, try to have your knee towards the back. You can even wrap your toes around the back of your leg if you want. When you're ready, releasing your arms, releasing your leg, and then let's switch to the other side. So now engaging your right thigh, making sure that's nice and strong, but don't lock your knee. And then when you're ready, with your focal point and your breath, you're going to bring the left foot to wherever you're comfortable. And then if you want to go ahead and grow your tree, feel free to do so. Always listen to your body. If you need a wall for balance, always use that. Sometimes just standing next to the wall is enough to make you feel okay about it, make you feel nice and settled. Just keep the breath going. When you're ready, release your arms, release your leg. So remember that if you need to, you can always come off of your mat onto the bare floor if that helps you. But that really depends on your flooring. Some people could do that on like a wood floor, but not on carpet, because carpet's pretty thick. So, you know, it's up to you. All right, so as we prepare to descend to the mat, let's come just a little bit back from the top of the mat. Take the legs out wide. We're going to turn the toes out. We're going to prepare to go into garland pose. So if you can't do garland pose with your feet flat, maybe you can do it with your heels lifted. But if that's not in your toolbox, that's okay. You can descend to the mat however you'd like. So if you want to just gently come down, that's cool. If you want to come into standing forward bend and then transition through down dog, that's cool. But for me, for today, I'm going to come into garland pose because I want to open those hips up really good. So bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. On the exhale, let's squat down. Yeah. And then in a minute, I will adjust the camera down because obviously we're going to come down here on the mat some. Palms are pushed together. Triceps are pushing against the legs. And we're breathing. This can be pretty intense for some people, so, you know, obviously if it's not doable, don't do it, but if it's just kind of intense, if it's pleasant pain, then just breathe really good. And then we'll take our hands to the mat to assist us down further. And I'm going to come up here and bring the phone down there. And I see I am joined today by Mary and Debbie. Hi, ladies. It was good to see you the other day, Mary, even if I couldn't give you a hug. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get one of my blankets, and I'm going to fold it in half because my right knee is still pretty sore. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to come onto all fours, making sure that the wrists are underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread nice and wide, gives you a better base of support, and the knees are underneath the hips, and the tops of the feet are flat to the mat. On the inhale, dropping your belly, looking up to the ceiling. On the exhale, bring the chin to the chest, round your back. Feel free to move in the out. Moo. Meow. I always hear Kelly and Mary in my head. Because they did it really well. Just move with your own breath. Really stretching. Taking your time. On your next inhale, turning your toes under. And I lost you guys. Somebody was texting me, and that somebody was Mackenzie, because today is her 19th birthday, and I had texted her. So, sorry about the break there in the video. But we're in pigeon pose now with the left knee bent. So just making sure that you're on your shin. If you want to come down to rest on your forearms or a block or whatever you want. Lengthening out the right leg behind you. I know I'm out of everybody's sight now. Well, my head is, but the rest of me's still there. Just breathe. Relax. Always making sure that our hips are balanced out with the mat. And then we're going to come back up onto the palms very gently. No popping up allowed, that's unnecessary. Turn the toes of the right foot under, moving back into your three-leg down dog, and setting that foot down on the mat. Then we're going to inhale the right leg up, drop that heel towards the buns, opening up that knee. Inhale, lengthen out, and exhale, bring the right knee up to the top of the mat. So once again, your hips are balanced out and you can stay up on your palms. You can always do thigh stretch, mermaid, whatever you want to do. And then when you're ready to come down to rest, forearms or block or stack fist or the bolster. If you line the bolster up right down the length of your body, that feels pretty good as well. Just breathe, relax. It's good stuff, this pigeon pose. Always keeping the breath going. Then we'll come gently back up onto the palms. Turn the toes of the left foot under, moving back into your three-leg down dog. Setting that foot down on the mat. And then exhale down onto your knees. And then we're going to come to standing on our knees. So we're going to go into, I came up too fast. Dizzy. We're going to go into gate pose. So I'm going to go ahead and take my left leg out to the side. You can have your toes turned forward or out to the side, depending on what you want. We're going to inhale the arms up, and on the exhale, we're going to hinge out over that leg, bringing the right arm straight up, or you can bring it over to continue that side stretch. That's a nice long stretch if you want that. But if that's not good for you, then up is fine. Looking up or down, just breathe. This is a nice little hip opener. I can really feel it on my right hip. Plus, it's a great side stretch. Bonus. Then we'll inhale, coming back up. We're going to exhale over onto the right palm, bringing the left arm up, and then we're going to lift that left leg, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Just breathe. You can stay right here, or you can pull that left foot back into Shavasana, sugarcane,
opening up your chest. So then you get the bonus of a chest opener with your hip opener. Yay. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale the foot down. Inhale the arms up. And the hands are going to come down to the mat to assist you bringing your left knee back in. And then you're going to extend your right leg out. So once again, the foot can be pointed forward or to the side. We're going to inhale the arms up and exhale. We're going to come over, bringing the right hand either to the thigh or the shin. Avoid your knee. And then the left arm can come up or over. And remember, each side is different. So like this side, I can't stretch my leg out this far, and it feels not as good. But that's because I'm having some problems with that groin. So, you know, just be kind to your body and be patient. I'm having to be real patient. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, coming onto the left palm. The right arm comes up. And then we're going to lift the right leg, flexing that foot. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And if you want to reach back and grab hold of the foot, opening up into sugarcane, feel free to do so. That is totally optional. You do not have to do it. You don't have to do any of this. It's your practice. And I can't see what you're doing. You could be laying there in Shavasana for an hour. I wouldn't know. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale the foot down. Inhale the body up. And bring the hands back down to the mat as you assist yourself back onto all fours. So let's see who we've got. Christina has joined us, and thank you. I love this shirt too. It says Namaste at home with your dog, or my dog. I need to cross it out and say your, since I have two of them. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab a block if you have one. If you don't, you could probably fold up a blanket pretty good. We're going to do lizard variation. So we're going to go ahead and put the block down on the low side, to the left of your mat. And I'm going to bring the right leg out, and I'm going to make sure that the knee is stacked over the ankle. So the nice thing about this is I can look and see how my knee is stacked before I even go into the pose. And that's what I want you guys to do, because a lot of times you don't take the time to do that, and then the knee is forward, and we don't want that. We want it nice and stacked. Left hand is going to go to the block. You're going to reach back with your right hand, grab hold of the left foot, and pull the foot toward your buns, and then open up your chest to the right. So hopefully you can see what's going on behind my back where my foot is. And you may not get your foot that far up, that's fine. But we want to open up the chest. This opens up the hip. Breathe, and then release. The only thing that does cause a problem sometimes is if your knee is bothering you, that can not be good. So you may have to double up your blanket, or you may have to refrain from doing this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come onto the right knee now. Shift the block over to your right. Bring the left leg out. Make sure that your knee is lined up. Hand goes to the block or your fingertips. It's up to you. Then we're going to take the left hand back, grab hold of that right foot, pull up, and open up the chest. I like this because it stretches the hips, it stretches your shoulders, like opens up your chest nice. Get a nice stretch in your back. But I imagine for some people this is not such a great stretch because you kind of pretzelize yourself. New word, pretzelize. And then we'll release. Woohoo! And bring the legs back and move the block out of the way. And then we are going to come back onto all fours once again. We're going to inhale, taking the head up and dropping the belly. Turn the toes under. Exhale, move back into down dog. Soften the knees. Breathe. Then we're going to inhale, coming out into plank. So take your feet back and bring them together. Just breathe, push into your palms. If you need to drop your knees, go ahead. Then everybody's going to drop their knees. Glue those elbows in. We're going to go down through 8-point, our little inchworm. And then once we're down at the bottom, take your hands to the base of your chest. Make sure your elbows are glued in. Tops of the feet are flat. Knees are lifted. Let the breath raise and lower you in Cobra. And your breath may be big, your breath may be little. My Cobra, I think, is pretty big. A lot of Cobras are small, and that's fine. And then exhale down. So we're going to turn onto our right side and rest your head. I'm going to scoot down a little bit so that you can see me. Rest your head in your palm. Level out your body, so you want a nice straight line down your mat. You're going to bend that top knee. Grab hold of your big toe with your 2 big fingers, your first fingers, or you can grab hold of your shin if you can't do this, because sometimes the leg is, or the arm is not long enough. So we're gonna go ahead and straighten up that leg. If this is not doable for you, take your hand to your shin. You can even hold on to your pants if you want. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this, but I know not everybody can. If your arms are too short, you could use a strap to do this as well. You just kind of have to work it a little bit. So this is Vishnu's couch. I didn't name it. Kind of weird though, huh? And then we'll bend that knee and exhale down. And then you can just roll over onto your left side. I'm going to actually turn over because I don't want to have my back to the camera. So once you're on your left side, again, you're resting your head in your palm. You want to lengthen your body out along the back line of your mat so it's as straight as possible. It's kind of hard to get the arms straight as well, but do the best you can. And then bend the right knee, grab hold of the toe or the shin, and inhale. Taking that leg up. Nice stretch too. This is a really nice stretch for the hamstrings, the calf muscles. Pretty good workout for the arm. Breathe. And exhale, bend that knee. Take it on down. Now I gotta turn back around again. All right, so roll back onto your belly. Bring your hands back down to the base of the chest. Drop your knees to the mat. We're gonna push up and then come back either into child's pose or into happy puppy, whichever you prefer. If you want child's pose, bring your toes together and take your knees as wide apart as you need them and rest your hips back toward your heels. If you want happy puppy, just keep those buns in the air. Relax the forehead and the chest down towards the mat. Breathe. And of course, if you're doing child's pose or happy puppy, there's really a difference in the stretch that you're going to feel between the two of them. In happy puppy, in my mind, you're getting more of a stretch in your back and your arms, and really in your side as well. In child's pose, the stretch in the back is there, but it's different. So it really depends on which one you like. And you're going to get, if you're in child's pose, it's going to be different if your hands are out front than if they're down by your side. I get more of a stretch if my arms are out front, so I tend not to put my hands down by my side very often. But I just really prefer happy puppy for whatever reason. It just feels better to me. Now, when you're in happy puppy, something you might not have thought about is if your buns are straight up in the air, you're going to get one stretch. If you shift your buns back, it stretches it a different way. So play with it and see what feels best for you. You know, it's your practice. You're in the privacy of your own home. So just kind of play around with it, see what feels good, and then that's what you go with. And then exhale, and we're going to come back up.
And we're going to come down to seated. All right, so once we're seated, let's extend the left leg onto the mat. And we're going to bring the right foot either to the shin or to the inside of the thigh. And if you got to prop it up, prop it up. Pull the buns out from under you, butt luggage going on a trip. And bring the fingertips out to the floor beside you. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. On the inhale, we're going to take the arms up. They're going to be shoulder width apart with the palms facing one another. And I want you to really lengthen coming out of the waist. And on the exhale, we're going to fold from the top of the thigh, coming into Janu Sirsasana, head to knee. Taking your hands to the outside edge of your foot, to your shin, to the mat. Use your strap if you want. Just make sure your elbows are down by your side. Making sure that the back is as flat as possible, the neck is neutral, and we're breathing. And again, just like in gate pose, we're going to recognize that one side is easier than the other side because we're not perfectly symmetrical. So just breathe into it. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. You're just going to get a better stretch on one side than the other. Now, I actually read somewhere that you could balance that out by stretching on the harder side first, then the easier side, and then going back to the harder side. So basically, you're working the more difficult side twice. I've never tried that, but I thought it was kind of an interesting thought. Maybe one day I'll have to try it. Then on your exhale, walk your hands back in, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take the right foot now to the outside of the left leg. You can keep the left leg extended or you can swing it back so that that heel is now right at your right hip. And then we're going to take the right hand behind us. We're going to inhale the left arm up. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to the right into Ardha Machandrasana, half lord of the fishes. So take your arm however you want it to be, and then you can look to the side or over your right shoulder. Just make sure that back hand is very lightly touching the mat. You don't want to lean back on it. This one always feels really good to me in the glute, like it's really stretching out my right glute right now. I love this one. This one is one of my favorites, and it's one of Mackenzie's favorites. Whenever I would call out Marishasana 3, she would always do Ardha Machandrasana, and I was like, you're such a little rebel. Even when she was beginning, like 13, 14, she would just do this one. I'm like, okay. But y'all know, I was used to y'all hijacking my class. Exhale, we're going to turn forward and unpretzel yourself, extending the right leg onto the mat, bringing the left foot either to the shin or the inside of the thigh. Pull your buns out. We're going on the second half of the trip. Fingertips out to the side. Inhale, let's bring the arms up. Lengthen out, really reach and stretch, and exhale, fold from the top of your thigh. So obviously for me, this is the easier side right now because I don't have to prop myself up, so I can stretch more into this side. And I know there's so many things you can do with this pose. Nicole likes to use a block on the end of her foot sometimes. You can take, in this case, it would be the left hand to the outside of the foot and the right hand behind you, and then turn your head to the right and do a nice stretch that way. Just kind of play with it, make it your own. Again, I can't see you, so whatever you want to do. For all I know, y'all could be in headstand right now. I don't think so, but it could happen. And as you're breathing, you're just keeping some fluidity in your motion, in your body. It doesn't have to be deep. Mine usually is, but I find that the deeper I breathe, the more aware I am in my practice. But that's not always easy to do. You just have to keep reminding yourself. One more nice deep breath in, exhale out, and walk your hands back in, and we'll bring the left foot to the outside of the right leg. We'll see if I can get my right leg back today. Or you can keep it extended. Ooh, shift myself. Okay. No, not happening. So, like I always preach to you guys, you listen to your body. In that case, that was not feeling real good because of my knee and my groin. So I'm just gonna keep that leg extended. Bring the left hand behind me, right arm up, and exhale, twist. Yeah, sometimes I can get that leg back, but most of the time not. Maybe at some point I'll be able to, we'll see. Every day is a new road. Some days, and you guys are going to find this too, of course. Some days you can do something that you couldn't do yesterday, and then the next day you won't be able to do it again. And you're like, what the heck happened? The body is a complex system, for sure. Then we'll exhale, turn forward, and extend both legs onto the mat. Making sure that your feet are flexed, pulling the buns out, bringing the hands down by your side. So relax your shoulders. If you need to bend your elbows to do this, that's fine. You want to gently push into the mat, not crazy. For most of you, I think you can probably keep your arms straight and gently push in, but for me, that you can see it takes I look funky, because now my shoulders are up in my ears, so I just relax my shoulders. Nice deep breaths, and as we prepare to transition from Dandasana into Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend, if you need to widen your legs out a little bit, go ahead and do so. Then we'll inhale once again, stretching out, lengthening, and exhale, fold. Making sure that your back is flat, your neck is neutral. And again, you're welcome to use your strap with this. Just keep your elbows back by your side. Make your arms do the work, not your body. You can take your hands to the mat, to your shins, to your feet. But don't make your feet the goal, because for some people that's just not going to be possible. And then you kind of lose what's meant to be in the stretch. This is a really good stretch, stretching the entire back of the body, so that's nice. Oh, I forgot my strap. I'll get it in just a minute. Yep. Gonna need that. Just breathe through this. I try to do this one for as long as I can. I've never actually timed myself. I think I get about 1.5 to 2 minutes, which is pretty good. And then we'll exhale, coming back up. And we're going to grab our blankets. I'm going to get my strap while I'm up here. This is right here in front of me. Put that to the side. I'm going to have to fold my blanket up again, so bear with me just a minute because I had it in half. Okay, and then we're going to turn sideways on our mats, take our blankets end to end with the fringe ends pointing out. One knee onto each blanket. Yeah, that's where we're going, kids. And we're going to go into frog pose. So keep your toes together. One knee on each blanket. Let's come up onto the palms. And I know I'm going to go out of the picture now, but that's okay. And then on the exhale, we're going to slide the knees apart, keeping the toes together. And we're going to settle back towards the heels. Ribbit. You know I got to do it. I don't care if anybody's here to hear me or not. So you can stay up on your palms. You can come down onto your forearms. You can come down onto the bolster, which of course is now behind me, so I'll grab my other one. So convenient having these shelves right here. And we're just going to rest into it. If you feel like you need to come out of this early, then go ahead and do so. I'm going to let you rest for a few breaths. I can picture Debbie now just completely laying on the floor. Just breathe. If you've got your head turned to the side and you want to turn to the other side, go ahead and do so. Debbie, rivet. Oh my goodness. Keep the breath going. All right, and then we're going to come very gently out of this. So you're going to come back up onto your palms. Step number 1. Then we're going to come off of the heels. Step number 2. Gently bring the knees back together. Step 3. And there we go. And of course, when you're in frog pose, after you widen the knees, if you want to widen your feet out, you can. It makes it more intense. And I forgot to say that, so I'm sorry. But hopefully, if you're the sort of person who does that, Debbie, you know that you can do that and you don't need me to tell you. Okay, so we're going to start to transition down to our backs. So if you have a strap convenient, bring it with you because we're going to need that in a few minutes. Of course, if you have a clippy or anything like that, you're going to have to take that out as we go down onto our backs. Woo! So slide up towards the end of your mat. Down onto our backs. Yeah. The hips if you want, that's up to you. Make sure the knees are pulled in toward the midline of the body and the chin is released away from the chest. Just breathe in Setu Bandha, easy bridge. If you want to add a little strength pose to it, and this is a nice hip opener as it is, you can inhale the right leg up. Just make sure you're not releasing the hips down toward the mat. And then take that right leg back down. Make sure your hips are still elevated. Inhale the left leg up. Breathe. And exhale that foot down. And then we're going to exhale all the way down, releasing everything. Woo. Then we're going to inhale the knees into the chest. You can cross your ankles and rock in cradle rock, or you can come into happy baby. So just remember, if you're coming into happy baby, you're going to have the feet in the air, the knees are bent. Take your elbows to the inside and your hands to the outside or to your shins if you can't grab your feet. Too often I saw people going reverse. Awkward. So elbows inside, hands outside. And then you can widen out and you can rock if you want. I always love teaching that pose just because everybody's butts was in the air and they're like, my butt's in the air. Like, whatever. Just relax. Really move into any place on your back that might be giving you some problems. And then we'll come to a stop. Grab your strap. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Take it around the balls of your feet. On the inhale, we're going to take the feet up into the air into reverse pose. So your hands should be down towards the bottom of the strap with your elbows toward your side. Unless, of course, you're going to climb up your legs, which you can. You can do this and kind of stretch out a little bit. But don't do it for long, just a couple of breaths. And then we'll come back down because then we're going to take the legs out wide into a V. And we're going to rock. And if you rock over, that's okay. Just kind of catch yourself on your elbow. That's what I do. I have my elbows bent so that if I rock too far, I can catch myself without going all the way over. I think this even feels better than cradle rock, quite honestly. And then we'll come to a stop. Bring the feet back together. We're going to keep the right leg in the strap and take the left leg down onto the mat. Left arm out to the side. Both ends of the strap in the right hand. And we're going to take the leg down to the right. So now what has happened to me in this, and it usually happens most times, I've got my elbow on the mat and I'm holding the strap up, supporting it with my elbow in my hand. But I'm turned too far on that right hip and it doesn't feel comfortable. So I'm going to bring my left foot flat to the mat,
lift my buns and set my rear end back down again. Now I'm resting more on my back and not on that hip. And I can actually now release the foot further, and it's actually on the floor. And then you can keep your foot flat, your left foot flat to the mat, or you can go ahead and extend the leg out. Normally, if you extend the leg out, I think you get more of a stretch on the right groin than if you have the left foot flat to the mat. But kind of play with it and see what your body does, because everybody's different, of course. We're all different sizes and shapes and all that. Just breathe. Then we're going to inhale the right leg up, switch the strap to the left hand, the right arm goes out to the side, and the left leg comes across. In almost every case, the leg is going to hover in the air, because if you try to get it down to the mat, you're turning too far. So we want to keep as much of the upper back and the shoulders on the mat as we can, and we've just got the right hip and the lower back and the bun off of the mat. So I'm kind of rolled over on my left hip at this point. But don't go too far, because then you lose the stretch. Then we'll inhale back up, bring the left leg up, take the right leg down. Whoops, I hit the wall. Right arm out to the side, and the left leg will come down. And that oftentimes happens if you try to go too far in the stretch. Like you're trying to touch your toes, or you're trying to get your leg down to the mat in reclining hand to big toe pose or whatever. You lose the stretch. So don't be competitive with yourself. Give yourself the stretch, not the satisfaction of reaching your toes, because there's really no satisfaction in that. It's just something, we're competitive. I don't know why. We just are. All right, inhale that leg up, take the strap into your right hand, left arm out to the side, and release across to the right. Woo. And depending on your body, you're probably feeling it, the back of your thigh, in your glute, in your hip. Of course, your arm is doing some work, so you're getting a stretch there. And when we're doing this, you can look up to the ceiling or over the opposite shoulder to extend the twist. Then we'll inhale the leg up, bend at the knee, release the strap. And you can set that strap off to the side. So let's bring the feet back flat to the mat again. We're going to take the right ankle onto the left leg. And then you're going to reach the right hand through and the left arm to the outside. On the inhale, you're going to bring the left leg into your body. Now, everybody's different as to how they can do this. I can grab on the outside of my shin. Some people just have to grab the back of the thigh. You may grab each foot with a hand. Depends on what you're going to do. You can stay like this in eye of the needle. If you prefer to go into dead pigeon, take your legs straight up to the sky. Your foot can be flexed or pointed. That's up to you. If you really want a nice stretch, I don't know if I can do it. Yikes. You can bring your foot down into your hip flexor. But for me, that's not doable right now because of my knee and my groin. So I'm just going to stay right here and breathe. Try to relax your shoulders. That's kind of hard sometimes in this pose because of where our hands are. Our shoulders are naturally going to close, but try to relax them down, and that'll put more of your back on the mat. If your leg's extended, go ahead and bend it back down. Release the left foot to the mat. Cross the right leg completely over the left, like you're sitting in a chair. Arms out to the side. On the exhale, we're going to twist down to the left. Now at this point, you want your shoulders and your upper back as flat to the mat as possible. You can keep both arms extended, or you can take your left hand to the top knee to give it a little bit of weight. That's up to you. And you can look up to the ceiling or over your right shoulder to extend the stretch. I like to extend the stretch. I think it feels good. But for some people, that's not real doable. Just breathe in our cross-legged spinal twist. Brilliant naming, right? Cross-leg spinal twist. Who would guess that one? Some of them I wonder why they're named what they are, but a lot of them are very obvious. Then we'll inhale the knees back up, uncross the legs, and bring the left ankle onto the right knee. Left hand goes between the legs, right arm to the outside, and inhale, bringing that knee in. And then adjust wherever you want to. So in this one, I can bring the foot all the way down into the hip flexor, and that's just going to give you a much more intense stretch, especially back here, right in the gluteus maximus. I don't know which. I'm not good with anatomy, so I just know where I feel it. Just breathe. And of course, if you want to go into dead pigeon, feel free to do so. And then we'll exhale the right foot down to the mat. Cross the left leg over the right. I just hit my blocks. Arms out to the side. Exhale, we're going to twist down to the right. And then your head can be looking up to the ceiling or over your left shoulder. Nice, complete breaths. Really inhaling and filling the belly. And then on the exhale, the navel pulls back to the spine. And then at the end of your next exhale, you'll inhale the knees back up and uncross the legs. And then prepare for Shavasana. So whatever you need for Shavasana tonight, whether that's blanket, bolster, blocks, multiple bolsters, whatever you need, get it. Because, you want to be comfy. And so once you are in Shavasana with all the props that you need, we'll go ahead and release your legs out to the width of the mat and let your feet and ankles roll out to the side. Arms are down by your side, palms are open. And then we're going to close your eyes and bring your breath to its natural rhythm. Just really focus on relaxing as much as possible. Let's start to get some movement back into our bodies. Coming very gently out of Shavasana. When you're ready, rolling to one side and resting for a breath or two before you come back to seated. Always taking your time. Then as we come back to seated, we'll bring our hands into Anjali Mudra. My final thought for tonight is that stars can't shine without darkness. And right now, things look pretty dark to a lot of people. So I'm going to encourage everybody to be the light that you want to see in the world, to be positive and as bright as you can be, and try to stay calm, keep your breath going. And remember, for every half hour that you sit, 2 minutes of movement at a minimum. So go out in your backyard, get some fresh air, do something to stay strong mentally and physically. I'm going to keep on doing these at a fairly regular interval as we go through all of this craziness, because I think that it really helps all of us to have this time together, and especially since you can't have access to whatever yoga you were doing outside of your house now, since all studios are pretty much closed. So I'll announce whenever I'm going to do one. I'm going to try and do it at least 3 times a week. And thank you for joining me in my practice today. Namaste. Everybody stay safe. Try to stay as happy and active as possible. And if you need me, you know where I am. Love you guys.